Can you please identify the victim of this crime?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
True or false? I did nothing, you did everything, and I am the one committing the criminal act. Is that correct? For this crime to exist requires me to do nothing and for you to do everything. And this is short, so true or false? All I have to do to be accused of being a criminal, taken all the way to the jury, is absolutely nothing. Is that true or false?
Objection.
Sustained. I take you on your word that you are not video recording or recording these proceedings, but it is a little disconcerting with the camera in your pocket and facing out. That would be just don't want the jurors to be worried about whether or not they're being recorded. So
No problem. Totally understand.
Absolutely. Here's a rewritten version that keeps the sass and entertainment value, but makes it a bit sharper and more polished. This sovereign citizen really thought it was a brilliant idea to represent himself in front of a live jury. He got caught driving without a valid ID, no insurance, and now he's trying to argue his way out of it using YouTube legal advice. The best part? The video includes his own voiceover, so we get a front row seat to his thought process during the hearing. And yeah, it's just as delusional as you'd expect. The guy is completely out of touch with reality. But, credit where it's due, the judge stays calm and handles the chaos like a pro. Let me know what you think of this mess in the comments below. For now, let's dive in and watch this sovereign citizen crash and burn in front of a live jury. It's a wild ride. Want it more sarcastic? Or with a more neutral documentary-style tone?
and you swear from tell truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I did.
All right. Please have a seat. And if you would please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
You're heading back to Kitsap County, and please continue. How did you come into contact with the defendant?
We were driving northbound in the outside lane of Highway 16 from basically the Gig Harbor area. We were very close to entering back into Kitsap County, and I noticed in behind me in the inside lane of travel a white Ford dually pickup truck overtaking me at a really high rate of speed. And we were still in Pierce County at that time. And I increased my speed up to about 70 miles an hour and saw that the vehicle was still overtaking me from behind. And at that point in time, what I did was I activated my rear emergency lights in my vehicle, which are red and blue lights, as kind of a warning to the person driving the pickup truck that they needed to slow down. Joel that was driving the pickup truck, and he gave me a thumbs up with his right thumb and continued by me.
Oh, you little peasant. You gave me a thumbs up and thought you could pass me on the freeway?
And as he was pulling away from me in the inside lane, that's when I activated my radar in the same direction, moving mode with the front antenna, and observed his vehicle speed to be 71 miles per hour, and it was locked at the unit. The defendant immediately asked me if there was an emergency. And I explained to him that, again, the reasons for the traffic stop. And he explained, so the stop is based solely for money at that point in time. I told him no, the stop was about safety, and requested his driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance.
And so after you requested that information, what happened then?
He basically told me that he wasn't going to answer any legal questions without an attorney.
Were you prepared to inflict violence in an act of discovery?
Require you to rephrase that question.
Were you prepared to inflict property damage in an act of discovery?
I guess the state is just a little confused by the question.
Same. Rephrase the question.
Well, did you testify that you were prepared to break out the window of my property?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So were you prepared to break out the window in an act of discovering information for the purposes of collecting money?
Objection.
Sustained.
Were you prepared to break out the window for information that would make it easier to charge bills?
Objection.
Sustained.
Were you prepared to break out the window to discover information of me, a man?
No.
You was not prepared, but you testified you were going to break out the window.
I was prepared to break out the window in order to take you into custody after advising that you were under arrest. Yes.
Okay. Is breaking
For sure. Here's a smoother, sharper rewrite that keeps the tone and message intact. Is breaking someone's window an act of violence? Short answer, no. It's actually a legal way for officers to enter a vehicle when someone refuses to cooperate. Maybe, just maybe, if you followed directions instead of arguing for 10 straight minutes, we wouldn't be here right now. This guy's ranting about his rights, like traffic laws somehow don't apply to him. And those little text edits he throws on screen? Hilarious. He really thought that would prove his point. It's giving strong YouTube conspiracy energy, not a legitimate courtroom defense, and yet he still looks confused when the judge doesn't take him seriously. Like, come on, you truly can't make this stuff up. Want it spicier or more deadpan?
No, I did not.
Okay. Can there be an arrest without due process of law?
I don't understand your question.
Is it a danger to make an arrest without understanding the law?
Your Honor, I guess the state is objecting to this line of questioning on that particular ground. We discussed I think we discussed this partial motion.
Yeah, sustained.
What was your cause of action?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you need a cause of action to make an arrest?
Objection.
Rephrase your question.
Is a cause of action an essential component to authorize an arrest?
And I guess I'm objecting. I don't really understand.
Great, sustained. I understand the question.
Did you have probable cause?
Yes.
Probable cause? And could you please let us know what that was?
I made a request of you when I stopped you for the 2 infractions to provide your driver's license, registration certificate for your vehicle, and your proof of vehicle insurance, liability insurance, and you failed to provide any of those items or identify yourself.
And that gives probable cause.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are police powers in general delegated to the police by consent of we the people based on the promise not to violate the Constitution?
I'm not exactly sure how to answer that question.
You understand that you'll no longer have any police power if you violate the Constitution.
Now, either this criminal is completely stupid or he knows. I wonder which one could it be?
With respect to the Constitution, I'm not exactly sure how to answer that question.
You are operating under your oath. You testified from the beginning. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And your oath is to the Constitution. Is that correct?
Your Honor, I would object.
Basis.
Your Honor, I fail to see the relevance. He's under oath here. He's sworn to tell the truth. I fail to see how this.
Sustained. You can move on, Jay.
Would you look at that? They really don't want to answer that question, do they? Move on.
Absolutely. Here's a rewritten version that keeps the humor and critique but tightens it up and smooths the flow. I can't with this background voice. It's seriously cracking me up. He sounds like he's narrating a low-budget conspiracy doc about how the government is secretly plotting against him. This guy genuinely thinks he's the target of some grand scheme just because he got pulled over. Like, my dude, calm down. You're not starring in National Treasure 3 Crew. You just ran a stop sign. He really believes that asking the cop if he upholds the Constitution is going to magically make all his charges disappear. I hate to break it to him, but I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. Not even close. Maybe, just maybe, if he asked actual, relevant questions instead of repeating TikTok lawyer buzzwords, someone might actually take him seriously. But right now, he's just giving main character energy in the worst way. Want it to sound even snarkier? Or more neutral?
You understand that violating your oath of office contract immediately strips you of any police powers.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Mike, I would like to thank you for your confession. We now have on the record that you knew that you didn't have any police power from the beginning, and ignorance of the law is no excuse, especially for an officer of the law.
Okay. This is a traffic stop, correct?
Correct.
The word traffic is defined as commerce, and
I would object, Your Honor.
Overall, I'll let Mr. Haywood finish the question.
according to your testimony, your actions were based on traffic law, which includes license plates and all the documents that the person is legally required to provide, and this is all based on traffic law. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the traffic is defined as commerce.
So I guess, Your Honor, that's where I would. I don't-
Okay. Is traffic defined as commerce?
Your Honor, the defendants were requesting that this fact witness define the law. I just don't see how that's.
Objects. I'm just asking that he define his understanding of the law, because this is the whole basis. He's holding us up at a gunpoint. He needs to know what he's doing.
Mr. Morrell, if Sergeant Morrell can answer the question as to what he believes traffic to be, I'll let him do that. But if you can answer that question.
For me, traffic would be the vehicles that are moving upon our roadways in the state.
Okay, do you understand that your definition of traffic is a layman's definition and not the legal definition of traffic?
No.
So do you understand that you're upholding a legal definition of traffic while enforcing it based upon a layman's understanding of traffic? At gunpoint.
Objection.
Sustained. Next question.
You understand that your understanding of traffic is incorrect based on a legal standard that you are enforcing at gunpoint.
Your Honor, state's just merely requesting that he take up the gunpoint. I don't see how that the attempt to testify here.
Rephrase your question, Mr. Haywood.
Do you realize that your understanding of traffic is incorrect based on the legal definition while you're upholding legal laws?
No, I do not realize that.
Okay. You are enforcing traffic law without understanding the definition of traffic in its legal context.
I do not believe so, no.
Okay. But you just admitted that you don't know the legal definition of traffic.
I'm not aware of the legal definition of traffic.
Sure. Here's a cleaned up and rewritten version of your text with the same tone and message, just more polished. This guy really thinks he scored a point because he got the officer to admit he doesn't know the word-for-word definition of traffic. Like, congrats, man. Everyone, give it up for this dude. He stumped someone on a vocabulary quiz. That's not exactly a courtroom mic drop. He's reaching. So hard, and it's painfully obvious. I'm just waiting for him to whip out a dictionary like it's the U.S. Constitution. And let's be real. There's no way this sovereign citizen could tell you the legal definition of traffic without Googling it mid-hearing. He's out. Here playing word games like that's somehow going to undo the fact that he got pulled over. Come on now. Even the judge looked like he was trying not to laugh. Honestly, I'm surprised there wasn't an objection, because that question was straight up ridiculous. Want a more sarcastic version? Or maybe something shorter and punchier?
Say that's correct. I would say that you did not provide the required information that I asked you to.
Okay, so I did nothing. Is that correct?
Well, that is actually doing something. You made a choice not to.
So again, we're back to doing nothing. Is that correct?
Your Honor, objection.
Hold on. Just saying.
The identification that Trooper Sherman showed you, that's exhibit, that's the one with the ID on it, that's part of the record.
Objection. I guess I don't Which ID are we referring to? I don't think so.
The problem with this ID is it proves I'm outside of their jurisdiction, and they know that, and they can't have this ID come onto the record or the whole case is gone.
Well, Your Honor, this hasn't been admitted. There's been no testimony about this identification.
You want to ask, sorry, Merle, about that?
Yes, this is the picture that Trooper Sherman showed you as my identity. It's kind of big.
Can I see that, please?
Now, if Mike Merrill was telling the truth, he would have said he never got any ID at that point.
No, this
No?
wasn't provided to me. No,
What ID did Trooper Sherman show you?
there was no ID that he showed me on that stuff.
Well, how did he have my information to give to you?
He visually identified you, and he was able to go back in his information from his prior traffic stop with you and confirm who you were.
Okay, because I got it on video of him telling you, here's his.
Objection, Your Honor.
And now, here is the video they would not allow in court. They did not want anybody, especially the jury, to see.
Here's his form of ID that I took a picture of.
Excuse me? Excuse me, what was that again?
Here's his form of ID that I took a picture of.
Mike, what are you doing? You agree law enforcement should be held to the highest standard, but you broke the law before you claim to uphold the law. And you come into court and swear to tell the truth, and then you lie.
It's the same for now.
Okay. So at this point in time, your identification is based on hearsay.
The identification.
Objection, sorry.
Sustained.
How were you able to confirm that you, did I give you anything saying that I'm this person or I'm that?
Your Honor, I guess state's objecting this is beyond the scope of,
I'll overrule. You can answer that question. Sorry.
You never provided me with, you verbally identified yourself or provided me with any identification as to who you were.
So then the basis of your understanding of who you were working with